Hi guys, this video is just to give you a little bit of information about Project One, the Agonistic Behavior in Spider project, and just about collecting data for the project. So this is kind of the first part of our project, and I want to show you what's available on our Blackboard site. So I'm going to flip over to our Blackboard site so you can see where we are. And so we'll click on our Projects button. We've completed the first 3 weeks at this point, and we're moving into Project One, Agonistic Behavior in Spiders. So the first thing I do when I look at a new project or a new module is I look at kind of what we'll be doing kind of across all of the weeks. This is a 3-week project, and it's a busy one. We will in week 4 of our lab be collecting data in this week primarily. In week 5, we'll be analyzing the data that we've collected and doing a literature review to look for articles that focus on the same kind of things we're studying with spiders. And finally, in week 6, you'll be making a formal poster about the Agonistic Behavior in Spider project that we're doing to tell the story of what we studied, how we collected data, what we found, and what it means. And then here's the assessments button as well. Okay, so what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be introducing a study on spiders, jumping spiders. And so I click on week 4, and in week 4 I've really only got one important document, and that is the introduction and instructions document for our experiment. And I tell you, yeah, read this very carefully. I mean it. Data collection information is in here, information about measuring spider size, a data collection tool is in here, a blank SPSS data set is in here. This is an important document. So let's click on it. We're going to be studying jumping spiders, and Dr. Henshaw works with jumping spiders. It's his research organism. He collects them in various locations. He's collected recently in Texas and I believe Oklahoma and here in Michigan. And they're a pretty fascinating organism. I had never studied them before last year, and I am getting to love them. There's a lot of background information at the beginning of our instructions that just tell you a little bit about spiders in general, and more specifically about our bowl jumping spider that we're studying, right? Notice the species name here, Phidippus audax, and that it's italicized. We always italicize species names when you're writing them. Okay? So you get a little bit of information about what they look like, what is their biology, what are the parts of spiders, right? What are some important parts? You'll see quite a bit here about their vision, their sense of vision, and how these guys are really excellent hunters. Okay. So take a look at this. Then there's a lot in the background about their courtship and their aggressive behavior. They have interesting courtship behaviors when they engage with females, and they also, when males engage with other males, they interact aggressively. They size each other up and may attack each other. Certainly one animal will typically retreat in a contest or in a fight. And that's what we decided to study in this experiment. We decided to look at male contest behavior. When males are exposed to each other, or when males encounter each other in the wild, they interact and they engage in a sequential assessment of each other. And eventually one of them may disable or hurt the other, or one of them may win an encounter and the other retreats. It just runs away. Okay? Typically, when you think about contests between males, one of the important factors that influences who's going to win is size or strength, something like that. And so we're interested in how body size may affect contest behavior and who wins a contest if two males are put together, or if they encounter each other. And, there's a little discussion here about kind of weighing out benefits and costs. Of course, if a male spider encounters another male, it needs to survive. It doesn't need to die. It needs to survive so that it can find a mate and mate successfully later. And so there are it's, yeah. So there are a lot of low-cost assessments that males may do when they encounter each other. They don't want to immediately attack and get into a fight, because fighting is very expensive. It comes with perhaps losing a limb or perhaps losing a life. And so what you'll see in our videos and what happens in a male-male interaction is they may orient toward each other, they may slowly approach each other, they may open their or raise their front legs, and some sort of assessment of size may be taking place. They, as the encounter grows, they may eventually, what's called leg fence, where they'll raise their front legs and stretch them out as far as they can, the other spider being maybe a couple of millimeters away from it, with its legs stretched, its front legs stretched out like this, and they'll kind of assess each other, probably in size and strength, by just simply engaging in this little activity, right? And eventually, they may grapple with each other. They may actually bite, or their legs may interact. They may grab onto each other physically, and that it ends typically with one of the males running off, and the other male the clear winner. Well, we're interested in these contests, and we're interested in what factors might influence who wins a contest and the behavior in the contest. And so we set up, and so there's some background information, we set up an experiment in which we paired 10 males, and we put pairs of males into an arena. We enclosed them in petri dishes, and you'll see this on the video, for 5 minutes to acclimate them to the arena, and then we took their petri dishes off so that they were able to move around the entire environment, and we watched them. We videotaped this, and we looked for interactions between them. The animals eventually oriented toward each other, approached each other, engaged in these more aggressive behaviors, and eventually in each of these contests, one of the animals won the contest, the other retreated. In addition to just looking at things like size and how that affects who wins a contest, we also decided let's add, in some of these trials, let's add female cues. Because if a female is present, there may be more incentive to fight hard. We might predict, if a female is present, males may engage in fights quicker, or engage in longer fights, or do more aggressive behaviors during the fight, right? And so for 5 of the trials, before the trial began, before we put males in the arena, we placed a female into the arena and let her wander around it, presumably laying down some scent. And we removed the female and then began the trial. We call those the female trials, or female cue trials. And for 5 of the trials, we did not have any female in the arena. We just put the males in together. So we could compare, actually we really had 2 basic questions that we wanted to answer. One of them is, does the presence of female cues alter the contest behavior in males? And the second is, do winning and losing spiders differ in their size or in their behaviors in some way? Can we kind of sort out why some animals are winning and some are losing, right? And so your job as a team is to collect data from these 10 trials that we ran. And we have, Dr. Henshaw posted these 10 video trials that range from about 2 minutes to maybe 15 minutes long for all of our 10 trials that we ran. Each trial has 2 spiders in it. The spiders here are linked to, the spider numbers here are linked to an actual photo of that spider. When you look at the photo, you're going to have to look for details like what kind of markings does it have? How can I identify one spider 172 from 168 when they're in the same arena? Can I tell them apart from each other? So you're going to have to sort that out. And then you're going to watch these trials and collect data. Well, what kind of data are you going to collect? Well, you're going to be collecting data based on this ethogram that Dr. Henshaw and I made about the behaviors we see. So we see exploring behaviors where the animals are just moving around the room or orienting toward the other male. They're not acting aggressively, but they're definitely turning toward that male. We see a lot of approach and retreat behaviors. So once they are starting to engage, the males will raise up their front legs and maybe move toward the other male or back away from the other male, and maybe even get cornered. These are approach and retreat behaviors. If the fight escalates, and it does in all of our videos, the males will start doing that leg fencing and grappling behavior. The leg fence is when they put out both of their legs, their front legs like this, straight out. The other male is face to face with our male, and they leg fence, or they engage in physical contact by grappling with each other, physically locking those front legs together, and sometimes even their jaws. Eventually, one of the animals wins. One of the animals, they let go of each other, and one retreats. One just kind of runs away as fast as it can. That's the loser. The winner would be the one who stays his ground, if you will. Before you begin watching the videos, you first need to collect data on their length. How big are these animals? We want to know. So we have all these photos. You're going to learn how to collect data using what's called ImageJ. ImageJ is an application that you can use, that you can download. There's a video here that Dr. Henshaw made about how to measure the length of your spider. That's what we're going to measure, the length of the spider, from tip of the abdomen to the front of the carapace, and you'll figure out what that means. You're going to want to measure each spider very carefully. I might even recommend that one person make all the measurements to keep consistency aboard, or maybe two of you get together and do it at the same time. In any case, you might need to make a measurement 2 or 3 times just to make sure you're consistent. Because these spider pairs we set up to be fairly similar in size. One spider might be 12.8 millimeters and the other 13.2. But if you take bad measurements, you could mess up their size difference. So you want to make sure that you take good measurements. You're going to put the data into what's called a data collection tool that Dr. Henshaw made. This is where we're going to collect the data for each trial. And there's a video that describes exactly how to use the data collection tool, as well as a long set of instructions. You should read these instructions. You should watch the video before you even think about collecting data. You can also look at a few videos of the spider contest to kind of sort out what's happening, to make sure you can understand this. But the data collection tool is a spreadsheet, basically, and I can pop it up here a second. So in this data collection tool, you'll need one of these for every trial, for all 10 trials. And you're going to put in information like what trial number are we on? Is there a female or not? Are there female cues? Who won this particular contest? You'll put that in later. Who are our spiders? What are their sizes? And then you're going to report data down here that is basically a frequency, a count of every time you see, every 5 seconds you're going to report what you're seeing. Are they exploring? Are they approaching? Are they retreating? Are they leg fencing or grappling? And you're going to watch one spider first, and then you're going to watch the other spider. So you're going to watch the video twice. When you're all done, if everything is put into the data tool perfectly, then the blue line at the top will have all of your data tabulated. So we'll be able to see the number of times the loser retreated. The number, if I click on another one, they all say winner, but they're not really just winner. The number of times the winner did a leg fence. All right? So we're going to have all these data that we can put into another spreadsheet, an SPSS spreadsheet, so that we can analyze all 10 trials. So your job this week as a team is to measure all the animals and collect data from all 10 videos and put the data, once you're all done with that, into the blank SPSS data set that you have a link to here. That will be a set of 10 trials of data. You'll have 10 rows of data for your 10 trials, and you will save your SPSS spreadsheet. You will probably put it on your file exchange so you know where it is for all of you, and you will upload it for your assignment this week. That's due at the end of the week. Okay. So the hardest part, I think, is learning how to watch the videos while taking data. I actually used two monitors. I had one monitor with a video on it and one monitor with my data tool collection sheet so that I could simply put data into that while watching the other monitor. So you'll have to sort out how you want to collect the data. And your job as a group of 4 is to collect all the data together. We also will include in your SPSS spreadsheet who collected the data, so we know that you are all participating in data collection. And it will take each of you a couple of hours, okay, at least, to accurately collect the data. I think that explains our project for data collection, at least. Following week, we'll talk about how we're going to analyze the data. So I think that's it for now. Thanks.